Are y'all ready to head off the trails? I'm the Cryptid Huntress, Jessica Jones, and I'm ready to take you on a mysterious journey right now. We welcome you to Off the Trails right here on Spaced Out Radio's YouTube channel. If you haven't hit subscribe yet, please do, because we would love to have you. And shout out to Bumblefoot for that amazing intro music once again. You guys, please follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on TikTok at Spaced Out Radio. You can find me at thecryptidhuntress.com, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Cryptid Huntress. All right, and visit my shop, War Woman Goods. You guys, actually, right now, I am offering a discount on at my shop with the promo code Halloween. Okay, so go to War Woman Goods on Etsy. It's all one word there. And type in Halloween when you check out, and you guys get a discount. All right, it's my Halloween special. Okay, I have a couple of fantastic guests here tonight at SOR. I have JT and Ryan from the Horror Chronicles podcast. Don't forget that right after this show, After Hours has an amazing show set up for you guys. Okay, so let's get to our guest tonight. JT and Ryan created the Horror Chronicles show because of their love of horror. They dive into all things creepy, discussing horror movies, the paranormal, cryptids, and just about anything that would make the normal person's skin crawl. So join them on a journey into the unknown, and who knows, you might just learn something along the way. And I can promise you guys, we're going to learn something tonight. Please help me welcome to the show, JT and Ryan. Hey guys.
What's up, everybody?
What's going on? What's going on? Thank you so much for having us.
Of course. Hey, it's Halloween weekend, you guys. So, I mean,
our time of the year.
Who better to bring on this weekend than the Horror Chronicles podcasters, right?
Nice. Thank you so much for having us.
First off, let me say I love your intro.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
We were kind of jamming on it.
You know, okay, so. That's Bumblefoot. We love him. Yeah,
awesome.
He allows me to use his music on my intro, so
that's awesome.
I'm all about it. Yeah, and it's perfect for Halloween. Yeah,
I like it. Nice. I like it.
Yeah.
But yes, thank you so much for having us on again, and we hope that everybody has a good time tonight. So.
Yeah. Well, do you guys have any big Halloween plans?
Oh, geez. The whole month of October is well. See, so go ahead, JT. Just let her know real quick what you do.
Oh, it's all about me now. All right.
Yeah, what's your plans, JT?
Well, so I have been fascinated with Halloween since I was a little kid. I mean, most kids are, but as I got older, I really got into the haunt aspect of it. And, I worked in a few haunted houses when I was younger, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to start doing this kind of stuff at my house to an extent. I don't do a haunted house per se, but I do a huge Halloween display every year, and it's super creepy. We put out a huge cemetery, and it's all lit up, and I build a bunch of animatronics.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Well, he says he puts he decorates, but he builds his own decorations.
So. You know what? I was actually told about this by D.A. Roberts. He told me that you had a huge Halloween setup, and I forgot to ask you before the show. I was going to ask you for a picture to post.
Yeah, today. I'll send you over some pictures here.
Yes, dude. I would love to put that on our social media site so everybody can see that. Yeah, that sounds fun.
It's not the biggest thing out there, Well, that sounded horrible.
Don't go there.
But I mean, it's there's not anybody around me doing what I do, and it's really funny. That stuff, it all goes out the first weekend in October, and it's hilarious. Like in the morning, I'll see the school bus drive by, and all the kids are up against the window looking like, what did they do this year? Because I do something new every year.
To be honest with you though, it's kind of something pictures do okay justice, but to see it in person is better. And that's just because there's a lot of fine detail that you don't notice. And me, I know the background to most of it, so I see him building it. I know what's going on. And I see everything. I'm like, dang, that's so awesome, dude. The time and effort it takes it's pretty cool.
Yeah, JT, is there a theme? Do you have like a horror movie theme?
No. What I do is so my wife doesn't want me to do anything gross or disgusting. So like, she won't let me do like heads on stakes and stuff, which, by the way, we got to give it up for Vlad the Impaler. He won
the
yard
absolutely.
haunt for, so
We're
many
starting
years.
that tradition.
Anyway, yeah. So we don't do anything gross, but it's very creepy. Like whenever you pull in, I've got a really long driveway. So whenever you pull in the driveway, you've got to go through 2 cemetery gates, and you're basically driving through the middle of a cemetery to get up to my house.
Wow.
It's all lit up. I've got ghosts out there that fly around, and things that pop out of coffins. And
Oh, and is it free? Do you charge people to come see that?
no, we do it for church.
I know. I got to tell you a quick story because I can't believe I forgot about this. When my son was in preschool, he went to pre-K at our church. Okay. So, sober Christian Method, or actually Baptist church. And so we decided, his teacher decided to take the kids to a haunted train ride. Okay, out in this place called Villa Rica, Georgia. Okay, the Gold Mine Museum had a haunted train ride. So the kids got really excited about it, and we all loaded up, and everybody went to this train ride. Well, they'd had no idea that it was for adults, actually. And they had like black mass setups and devil worshiping rituals and things like that. For a bunch of Baptist, no, it was actually Methodist. It was Methodist. I'm getting confused. Okay. I went to the Baptist church. My son went to the Methodist church, pre-K. It was just all over, very satanic. The entire train ride was all satanic and all like heads on stakes, like Vlad, like stuff that your wife would not want you to do, JT.
Yes.
That's what it was on this train ride for all these pre-K kids. Okay.
Yeah. But it's funny whenever we first got married, my wife knew that I was really big into Halloween, and I shared that love with my brother-in-law. Him and we would always do it at my sister's house, and we'd do these huge displays there. And then once my wife and I got married, she kind of knew that I was into it, but over the years it has grown and grown and grown into this monster I can't control anymore. But it's funny, when we first moved out here, there was an older lady, which unfortunately she passed away a few years ago. Super nice lady, but she was very church going, God fearing. Every year, as soon as we'd start setting up Halloween, she'd start leaving letters in my mailbox about if I've accepted Jesus as my savior and all this stuff. And I told my wife one time, I'm like, oh my God, you got to let me put a bonfire out there and some like figures in black robes standing around it. And she's like, oh my God, we're going to have a prayer circle in our driveway.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, okay, so today I was doing a little bit of research on the history behind Halloween, okay? Because a lot of us walk around, every Halloween. Halloween to me means parties, dressing up, taking my kid trick-or-treating, the typical Halloween stuff that we celebrate here in America, okay? But there's a more sinister side to Halloween.
There is.
Now, and I'm going to assume you guys are familiar with that.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I know just a smidge about it.
Just a smidge.
I know enough to get us in trouble.
I cannot confirm nor deny.
Well, let's kind of go there for a a little bit tonight, because I think that would be a great precursor.
I was going to say
some other stuff we could talk about. Yeah,
perfect segue for
happy Halloween,
for
Duke.
Yes, happy Halloween, everybody.
Yes, thank you, CD.
Yeah. But yeah, first off though, Halloween now is definitely what you said. It's having fun, dressing up. There's a reason why you dress up, and we'll get into that. But Halloween is a fun time to have, dress up with the kids and do things like that, and just have a good time, get scared. Everyone loves to be scared. So it's perfect for that, and that's great that's the way it is now. But like you said, there is a little bit of history to it that not everyone knows.
There is,
and we'll get into that. So JT, you want to? I know you've been biting at the bits ever since I told you about.
I kind of have been, but so really the tradition of Halloween goes all the way back to the Celts. They had a time of the year that they called Samhain. Samhain. Yeah. It was actually pronounced Samhain. And at that time of the year, what it was they believed in two different times a year, a light time and a dark time. and Samhain fell on their transition between the light and the dark. Yeah, and basically what it was is that was the time of the year that it was the end of the harvest season. So the weather's getting colder, it's dark longer. So there was a for lack of a better word, there was an issue going into that dark time, because you may not survive that dark time. So they would have these festivals, and they had the festival of Samhain. But it gets a little darker than that when you think about, when you get into the Celts and the pagans, when they decided to start creating a holiday. It was funny. The pagans had a day which was in May that was All Saints Day, and whenever that was their celebration of life, what they would do is they would pray for the saints that had passed away. And when the Christians got a hold of this, they decided to move that date to November 1st. So November 1st became All Saints Day, or All Hallows Day. So October 31st became All Hallows Eve, which was later shortened to Halloween.
And now we got to know also, the pagans they believed in the god of death, right? And
yes.
So that's kind of who they were paying homage to, right? Okay.
Yeah. It was a lot of praying for recently deceased loved ones.
To be
is how a lot of the traditions started.
Yeah. Well, and also to appease the god of death, the pagans would dress in costumes resembling the spirits to show their alliance to the god of death.
Right.
Okay. And and the kids too. The kids would dress like little demons and demonic spirits. They go door to door reciting ritual verses. Okay. I read that today. So that's the only reason I know. I'm looking at my notes.
Nice.
Okay?
Nice.
So you guys probably know
got more on that than we do then.
Well, and also they use so like you said, they also believe that was a time when things could walk the earth.
Right. The veil between life and death was extremely thin.
Was open, pretty much almost, and it was able to get pushed through. So also children would dress up in those costumes to trick the real demons and ghosts and goblins, and to thinking that they were, little demons, and just like that.
Right. And to keep these demons from taking them.
Yeah, that was terrifying. Just slightly scary.
That was scary.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of them. I look at all the older ones, I'm like, man, all these are so much creepier than what they make today.
They were. And the jack-o'-lanterns too, guys. These days we have my son and I, we always carve a pumpkin. We have a jack-o'-lantern. It usually gets rotten before Halloween. We have to throw it away in the lake. We toss it in the lake or wherever. But they had turnip lanterns. Okay, how creepy is this, y'all?
Stingy Jack.
Yeah. Stingy Jack. I don't know. I'd rather have a pumpkin, I think.
Yeah. Now, do you know how that came about?
No. How did this come about?
Okay. So the carving the faces on turnips, the story goes that there was a man named Stingy Jack, and he was a prankster, and he liked to play jokes on people, and he was constantly going around town, playing these mean and vile jokes on people. The story goes that he actually chased the devil up a tree, and once the devil was up the tree, he put all these crosses underneath the tree so the devil couldn't get down, and he did it as a joke. Well, years later, whenever Jack finally passed away, he died and went to hell. And when he got to hell, the devil didn't want him there, so he kicked him out of hell. But the devil felt some sympathy for him. So what the devil did is he scooped up an ember from the flames of hell and gave it to Jack to light his way as he walked through the afterlife. And so Jack, what he did is he picked a turnip up off the ground and he hollowed out the inside of it and he put that ember inside that turnip, and that's what he carried through the afterlife.
Yep, right there.
Wow.
And that's why they call it,
creepy.
and that's why they call him a jack-o'-lantern. Now, this was really big over in Scotland, and but by the time the tradition came here in America, people were like, oh, we want bigger and better things. So they, started looking at, instead of carving a turnip, why don't we pick this bigger piece of fruit and carve it? So they decided to start carving pumpkins, and it just kind of became a tradition.
They needed the gourd, right?
They needed the gourd.
The gourd. It's way bigger. You can get a way bigger face out of that.
Yeah.
I just carved it. I just literally just carved a 75-pound pumpkin.
Oh my God. What?
Yep. I just got done.
You going pumpkin chunking?
It was it was awesome. My wife's like,
that's a chunky pumpkin.
I told my wife, I was like, hey, there's this pumpkin on my route I want to buy. She's like, okay. I'm like, it weighs like 75, 80 pounds. She's like, okay, what are we going to do? Shoot it up after we're done? I'm like, definitely.
Hey, target practice. Target practice is always good.
But it actually made a awesome jack-o'-lantern. It is really gnarly, so it's pretty cool. So.
75 pounds. That's big.
I had to strap it in. I strapped it in the front seat of my work van, and like with the seatbelt. I put the seatbelt on it.
It would have started beeping if you had not put the seatbelt on, right?
And I put the bungee cord on it, and every time I'd stop at someone's house, like, what in the hell is this?
I'll tell you, it's funny. Ryan told you guys I build a lot of stuff for my Halloween display. I haven't quite figured out how to build a skeleton, but I'm going to tell you a funny thing is when you go to the store and you buy a bunch of skeletons, put them in the seats and put seatbelts around them. You won't believe the looks you get from people driving down the street. It's quite comical.
I can only imagine. And you can ride in the HOV lane by yourself.
Yeah, there you go.
Right?
Where we don't have those.
Yeah, we don't.
Oh, you guys are out west, right?
Yeah,
I live near Atlanta.
We're in the sticks.
We're in the center. We're right in the center of everything.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Well, okay, so going back to the traditional, Samhain, or however you pronounce that. I say Samhain, but it's Saman, I guess, something like that.
Yeah. You talking about Samhain?
Yes, that word. Yes.
Yeah.
That one.
So All Saints Day, the kids went door to door gathering salt cakes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And in exchange for prayers. Okay. Because they wanted to get their families out of purgatory, all their passed over loved ones. Right. And so, y'all know I went on Pinterest looking for some salt cakes today, but they're called soul cakes as well. So this is what they don't look as scrumptious as a Reese's Buttercup. I'm just going to say that.
Definitely not.
Right. No, it's not a Twix. It's not a Reese's Buttercup. But this is what they used to go door to door and get when the kids were going house to house.
Right. Yeah. And they actually called that tradition souling. And basically these kids would go and they would knock on your door and you would give them a soul cake. And it was basically almost like a payment system. You would give them a soul cake and then they would pray for your family and your loved ones.
Man, sounds like a good trade.
And not TP your yard.
And not TP your yard.
Not TP your yard. They probably didn't do that back then. In these days, with a TP.
No, that started in the 1930s, and we're going to talk about that.
We'll talk about that a little later.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah,
well, there's, like we were saying earlier, there's a more sinister side to this, and there has to do also with sacrificing humans and animals and all that kind of stuff too. Do you think that we, as just everyday modern day Americans, a lot of us don't know the history behind Halloween? Do you think a lot of people would not celebrate Halloween if they knew the history behind it? Real history.
We are a weird society, so they probably would. Yeah.
Well, some wouldn't. I think that today, people worship the Kardashians. So it's it's kind of like they probably would. People love and hate everything nowadays. It's so easy to hate things and to bash things. The way that I look at it now is that like you said earlier, and kind of what I was getting to as well, now it's turned into something that just is fun for people to have and to move on with it. It's something that you take and you make your own and do what you will with it. Now, as far as people being there's a lot of people now who don't want to celebrate Halloween. And, to me, I'm just like, look, does it really matter? You're not alive back in the day when people were doing this stuff. Right. So and have your kids dress up, have a good time.
Yeah. Go get candy.
Go get. Now, the bad part is
go
that
get your soul cake.
The bad part about it is that now it's kind of hard to trust people with your freaking with your candy, because they never know what they're gonna do. But
that's right.
That's the worst part about everything now, is that it's hard to just go out and have a good time with things. People want to judge it, but it is what it is.
Well, Ryan, I know you and I both have kids, so we know and JT, you may have kids too. I'm not sure.
I am a kid.
I know Ryan's got little kids, right?
Yes.
So I stay in the neighborhood, because I know where these people live. So if something happened with the candy, I know it's somebody in my neighborhood. We have a very festive Halloween here in my neighborhood. I mean, people come from all over into my neighborhood because they give out good candy. We give out good candy here.
We got full size candy bars.
We got the full size. Some people do. We know which houses have full size candy bars.
Yeah.
But it's not safe like that everywhere we go. So. But yeah, it is interesting how it has kind of changed. But now, back in the day, I remember at some point when I was a kid, my mom was worried because there had been razor blades in apples and stuff, candy apples that people were giving out back. I guess that was like the 1980s or 1990s. Yeah. So that was going on at some point.
Yeah, there was a weird time of that going on, and it's kind of weird. It's one of those, what came first, the chicken or the egg? There were only like very few known cases of that happening, but by the time it happened, that urban legend was already out there. So like, did that happen and cause the urban legend, or did the urban legend cause the actual act of that happening? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I'm sure it probably started off as like just a warning, trying to get kids to check their candy.
Yeah.
Like,
don't eat so many sweets, your teeth will fall out.
Exactly.
Yeah. Some people actually used to get their candy x-rayed. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. I just remember.
I never did that.
What I remember about Halloween when I was a kid, is that dressing up and whatever. Usually my mom made our costume. We were pretty poor growing up, so my mom would make our costume like out of. We were Ninja Turtles. We'll put it that way. She'd cut up an old red shirt and make the mask out of it, But I remember getting in a car that had exhaust leak, and it was leaking through the back seat, and then driving into the city and walking around doing things, getting candy. It was fun. Loved it. I've always loved Halloween just for that. I mean,
yeah.
Now that I'm older, I'm getting into to understanding things and looking into things. And to me, it's like, whatever. You guys can have your outlooks on whatever. That stuff to me, it means nothing. Like, I can have a conversation with someone about whatever and be fine. You have your beliefs, I have my beliefs, and we'll go on our way. And as long as I'm not hurting anyone, then it shouldn't matter, is the way I look at it. If it's not affecting you, or it's not affecting me, it's none of my business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Do your own thing.
I feel the same way. Now, you're talking about you dressing up as a kid. Now,
yes,
I went down the rabbit hole today of vintage Halloween costumes. Okay, let's just go through a couple of these.
We're not talking the Mike Post Casper.
No, we're talking about stuff like this. I mean, I would have to say these are super scary.
Those are awesome, though.
I mean, it's pretty awesome. Yeah,
that's pretty cool there.
That's
cool. That is cool.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that one. That one.
I don't know what that is. I mean, that's a ghost, I guess. Ghost.
You jackass. Oh, sorry.
Those giant paper mache ones are gnarly.
Yeah.
The paper mache are. Yeah. What is
this?
There
was a crazy thing about
a nanny.
Them whenever they first started making commercial costumes, because pretty much up until like, I think it was in the 50s was when the first commercialized Halloween costumes came out. Yeah. See, those are the ones I remember as a kid.
Oh, me too.
Yeah. But they were made out of like paper. They were like a paper, clothes and then a paper type mask. And it was crazy when you think about how dangerous that was. Because some things you get even remotely close to an open flame and they go up in flames.
Well, and that's back when our parents and our aunts and uncles and grandparents were all smoking cigarettes right there in our faces.
Exactly.
Maybe not mine, but I had aunts and uncles.
Yeah, see, I had a double, so I was inside of a car with the windows rolled up, right? And of course, my dad's smoking, so there's cigarettes on the car, and he had an exhaust leak coming right up through the back of the seats.
Nice.
Yeah, I remember
Those
it was like a 80 something Ford Tempo.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Worked on a bunch of those.
Those are the good old days.
Yes, gotta love it. Gotta love it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, you guys, let's talk about a little bit of, we talked about the ancient Druids and the Celts, okay, from back in the day and the beginnings of what is known today as Halloween. Okay, so you guys are into horror movies.
Yes.
And let me tell you, my son he is so into like horror. Okay, but he doesn't watch the movies, but he's into the characters. Okay, he's only 8. Right. But when he found out you guys were coming on my show tonight, he may be downstairs watching this right now, actually.
Nice.
Okay? He's really excited. He's like, Mom, I need to come talk to those guys. But he's really into Michael Myers. Okay,
awesome.
We are the right people.
We're the right people to talk about that.
Okay, so let's talk about Michael Myers because there's something about I think it's Halloween 6. Okay, and I did pull a picture.
Okay, so let's talk about Michael Myers for a second.
Okay, let's talk about it.
In the year 1978, the greatest man alive, Mr. John Carpenter, created the most ultimate slasher flick ever put on film. And that was the original Halloween. And he did it on a shoestring budget. The budget for that movie was a mere $350,000. And to this day, it has grossed over $500 million.
Wow.
A little bit of profit. Just a little bit of profit.
Just a little bit of profit.
A little bit of profit made off of that.
He did it it was very hard for them to film that. They filmed it very quickly. And he introduced the world to Jamie Lee Curtis.
More importantly, Michael Myers.
Michael Myers. What's cool, what a lot of people don't know, there's a lot of stuff I could tell you about the Halloween franchise.
But we won't.
But one of the cool things that a lot of people don't know is Mr. Freddy Krueger, Robert Englund, was actually working on the set of the original Halloween movie. He was not on film. He was there as a kind of like a pickup guy. So the original movie was filmed in Pasadena, California, and it wasn't in the fall. So what they would do is they had these big, huge trash bags full of leaves, and they would spread these leaves out every time they were going to do a scene. Well, at the end of the scene, they'd have to pick all these leaves back up and put them back into bags. That was Robert Englund's job.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. He was a cleanup guy.
He was a cleanup guy on
Halloween.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. See,
so connected.
Yeah. And Michael Myers, it's interesting. His character is because he's actually not known as Michael Myers. Really, he's known as the Shape.
Yeah.
And
as the what?
The Shape.
The Shape.
If you look in the credits, I mean,
and John Carpenter did that for a reason. He didn't want to humanize him. He wanted him to be like the boogeyman. So in all the credits for the movies, he is referred to as the Shape.
And I had no idea. Wow.
You see, and the thing about what made Michael Myers so scary, terrifying, creepy is the not knowing and the seeing the pure darkness in the eyes and the evil in the eyes. Yeah. There's no human soul there. It's just evil incarnate, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
No soul in the eyes. I've seen one person in my lifetime like that. And some people would say they're like black-eyed kids.
Black-eyed kids,
But what I saw was it was an adult. And he had no soul. I could see it. His eyes were completely black. Yeah.
That's funny because DA tonight is doing a live show about black-eyed children.
He is.
Yes.
I know, he is. He's on right now.
Yeah.
We're competition tonight, even though I love him.
Yeah, I'm gonna go on there.
There's no
and talk
competition.
smack.
Yeah.
Talk smack to him.
No, but so I think that just if speaking on Michael Myers here, you know, like I said, he was like the embodiment of just evil and the no, like I said, I guess no soul. There's nothing there but just I'm here to do bad things, and that's what I'm going to do. And it's amazing how creepy that character was and how great that film is. But then there's no super amount of gore.
Yeah.
You know, there's no. Carpenter was the king and is the king of atmosphere.
Yeah.
He knows how to make a movie and make you feel it, you know, make you feel like you're there.
What was it that Donald Pleasant said about Michael Myers?
I shot him 6 times.
No. That was in part 2.
That's what he said.
But that is what he said.
Inside joke, people.
Somebody actually asked on Facebook the other day about how many times did Dr. Loomis shoot Michael. I shot him 6 times. But anyway, he said in the original Halloween, I met this 15-year-old boy who had the blackest eyes, the devil's eyes. Yeah, I mean, that first movie is just that movie. The original 1978 is my all-time favorite film. I just love everything about it. You know, just the creepiness of it, and even if you watch that in the middle of July, you still feel like
that's cool.
Halloween. You know,
it takes you back.
Yeah, Darkness Falls is a good movie. Yes,
great film.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that in a long time because it's hard to find.
I'm trying to read some of the stuff. I don't talk, and I'm trying to read some of the stuff coming through here. So
all the comments. Yeah,
you can't read and talk at the same time.
Nope.
Yeah, you know what? There's an art to it. I tell you what, there really is. Now, you guys, I wanted to bring up Halloween 6. Okay. Because that is. They talk about the curse of Thorn. Are you guys familiar with that?
Yes.
Okay, so that's what controls him, apparently. It's an ancient druid curse placed upon a single member of a family, and where that person is forced to murder them. The whole family is a blood sacrifice on Halloween. Okay, and that's what kind of the producer or the writers of the show kind of wrote that into that movie because he was cursed by some witches when he was first born.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah,
it has to do with Halloween and Saman and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. I mean, and go ahead. I know you want to say something about that. Go ahead.
No. I mean, I agree with you. I thought that some of those movies through the middle, like The Return of Michael Myers, and then The Curse of Michael Myers. They really. Carpenter wasn't involved that much with those, and they were going down a strange path. But I did think that was cool how they brought in that whole Sam Hain and druids and all that stuff with that, because it kind of gave people okay, now I see what's going on here, because the thing about Carpenter was he wanted a lot of mystery. He didn't want people to know who Michael was. What kept the suspense up was not knowing, and that's what it was all about for him.
Oh, The Exorcist. Yeah.
The Exorcist.
The mystery behind it. Everybody loves a good mystery. And once you actually find out really what the real deal and the history behind the character is,
sometimes you lose.
It's like, well, now there's no mystery behind it. It's the same thing with Bigfoot. Okay. As soon as somebody actually gets an actual Bigfoot in captivity or finds a body, then the mystery's done, right? So it's actually kind of a good thing that nobody's found a Bigfoot, I guess, and in captivity. We found them, but we just don't, we don't have the tangible proof,
That's funny because so it's youth season right now. And I took my son out hunting earlier. We were hunting and stuff. And we met up with my brother and one of his kids, and they were going out hunting too. And we're on the way back. I was sitting, I'm like, there's a squatch out there. And
Squatch.
he's like, he's like, if I see a Squatch, I'm gonna shoot him. I'm like, well,
Sasquatches. Yeah, don't ever shoot one. Don't shoot a Sasquatch. Okay, we don't want to do that.
Head it right for us.
Off limits, because if you shoot at one, they're going to come after you. So you got to be careful. Okay.
Hey, I got lots of ammunition.
Yes, I know. You still got to be careful.
So Jessica, somebody asked a good question a while ago, and I kind of would like to roll this around the table. What's your favorite scary movie?
My favorite scary movie? Man, you know what? I haven't watched a scary movie in a long time now. I can tell you what I watched when I was a little kid. Okay, that scared the pants off of me. Was Children of the Corn.
Yes,
that was my movie, and Happy Birthday to Me. That was another.
That's another good one.
Yeah,
Children of the Corn is a great film.
Yeah, we actually did an episode about Children of the Corn not too long ago.
Did you?
And I hadn't watched that movie in 20 something years.
I haven't watched that movie. I haven't watched that movie in 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, so that movie, it's crazy. You watch that movie today, it still holds up pretty well.
Yes, I'm not joking.
It's still a creepy movie.
I just watched it 2 weeks ago. I watched it 2 weeks ago, and I have a friend of mine who's petrified of that movie. He used to live in Nebraska.
Yeah.
And
all the cornfields.
His family would like torture him with that.
Yeah.
So we'd call him in the middle of the night, and he'd pick up the phone, and I just play the theme song to Children of the Corn through the phone.
Nice.
And he's like, yeah, I hate you. I'm like, yeah, it's all good, bro.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, he was terrified. But that's a really good film, actually. I love that movie.
It was good,
really
but to scare me. Oh, and Crystal says Pet Cemetery. That was another one.
Yeah.
That was a really scary movie when I was a kid.
Great film. I can't watch it I can, don't get me wrong, but I have to leave the room.
That scene with Cage.
When the kid gets hit, I can't stand when children get hurt. Just something I can't take that stuff.
Yeah, so that's a tough one.
It's hard on me. Ever since I've had kids,
everybody's
just
got a good one. Oh, you know what? The comments are moving so fast. I keep clicking on one, and it's like I get the one underneath it. So I'm trying to pull some of these movies up, y'all.
Yeah, sorry guys, we're trying to get it in there.
It's going too fast. But yeah, okay. So let's talk a little bit about the Devil's Night, you guys.
Yes.
What is the Devil's Night, Ryan?
Devil's Night or Mischief Night. It was originally called Mischief Night.
Right.
And that was the night before Halloween. And
tomorrow.
Yes, which is tomorrow, everybody. So
yeah.
So
get out your rocks and your torches.
What there's Mischief Night.
No, don't listen to me. I'm just
don't ever listen to me.
Right.
Mischief Night turned into basically, it was a night for the young kids to go out and TP people's yards and throw rocks and eggs and just cause all kinds of mischief. They go out and they'd break things and egg people's houses and do all this stuff. And, then it took a turn.
Yeah.
And
Detroit, right?
Yeah.
Detroit. Yeah.
So
it was one of the worst ones. There was another one. There's actually one that happened, I think it was in Indiana. And they gave it the phrase of Black Halloween.
Ooh.
And it was really bad.
Yes.
The kids had set fire to a bunch of buildings in the downtown area, and
basically it turned into a night of them burning everything to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just throwing eggs, Molotov cocktails and stuff like that, and just
That's
burnt everything to the ground. The only thing good about that happened is it turned into an amazing movie that I absolutely love. I'm wearing the shirt right now. See? The Crow.
Yeah.
The man.
The Crow.
Which, for as bad as Devil's Night is, what it is and stuff, the movie The Crow is just...
Yeah, and for those of you who haven't seen it, it kind of revolves around Devil's Night. It kind of.
Well, that's basically what it is.
It's on Devil's Night, but that's not really what the movie's about, though.
Well, no, but it is kind of.
But it is.
It
is, but it isn't. But it is. But I'm bummed.
But no, that movie is, if anything was good to come out of that, I always try to make a positive, if anything was the good to come out of that, it would have been the movie The Crow. And that is on my top 5 greatest movies of all time. I absolutely love it. They're talking about, I think they already remade it, and post-production or whatever now.
I hope Rob Zombie did it.
How dare you?
Oh wow!
No, they should have never touched the movie. Which they're trying to remake all my lovely movies. But anyways, the film is amazing. It's about devil. It's basically about Devil's Night, and just so a rundown of it and what Devil's Night is. It's a night, like I said, for people to. These gangs would get together and just burn everything to the ground, and they'd rape, pillage, and plunder, basically,
like The Purge, kind of.
Yes, basically.
A little bit.
And that's what happened in The Crow, the movie The Crow. They break into this apartment building and they do these evil things to this man's was going to be wife, fiance. And Eric Draven was a guy. It's Brandon Lee, but Eric Draven was his name in the movie. And they do a lot of stuff, and they both die. But then the Crow brings him back to life to rain down fucking hell on them. Sorry, I used that word. I apologize.
Yeah, yeah.
But yes, great film, and I mean,
Jessica, that is a good movie. 1955 movie
Tarantula. I haven't seen that one, but I like tarantulas.
Spiders, cool. Man. Arachnophobia.
I don't mind a spider. That's a good movie too.
Great.
I got arachnophobia.
Yeah.
I was working on some Halloween stuff in here a while ago, and I had the door open because I had one of my fog machines going. And this big ass spider comes walking right in the garage. I was like, "You son of a bitch!"
Watch your mouth.
I'm like, somebody get me a torch.
He's so scared. It's hilarious.
Another movie I liked was Tremors. Movie.
Oh yeah, those were fun.
Yeah.
Well, Kevin Bacon and what was
he just passed away.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name. He just passed away. But Kevin Bacon actually, so Robert Englund, Freddy Krueger, if people who don't know, Robert Englund plays Freddy Krueger, and Robert Englund picked Kevin Bacon to replace him as Krueger because he doesn't want to.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Really?
And that was Robert Englund's pick.
What is that? 6 degrees of separation with Freddy Krueger?
It's 6 degrees of Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, he would definitely, I think he would be okay. Actually, I think that you can never replace Robert Englund, so it's a loss before it even happens. But
right. Oh my gosh!
First movie Kevin Bacon was on.
No.
I know. I'll let you.
I don't know.
The original 1980 Friday the 13th.
Oh no
Jason
way!
Voorhees. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. Okay, you guys. Okay, so last night I did a show on the Salem witch trials. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now that actually has some connections to Devil's Night. Okay, because back in the 1600s, there was a night to coordinate witch hunts. Okay, they called that Devil's Night because they were worried that the night before Halloween, the witches would be out cursing people. So they would go on literal witch hunts that night to go get all the alleged witches and round them up and put them in jails and stuff.
Oh yeah. Or kill them.
Yeah.
Or kill them.
For as bad as the Salem witch trials were in Salem, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
What happened in Europe before that was even worse.
We did a whole episode on that too.
It was really bad. We talked about that last night, actually. My friend Tanya and I remote viewed the Salem witch trials. And it was just it was basically innocent people being murdered. It was just horrible. Yeah. It's really sad.
Hey, look, they just mentioned. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm reading the comments. They just mentioned two of his favorites back to back: Salem's Lot and Poltergeist.
Yeah.
And Poltergeist. I like Poltergeist too. That's a great one. That's Carol Ann. Okay, that's my mom's name actually. So
that's creepy.
Yes, it's creepy.
Yeah.
That's a great movie.
So back to the whole Devil's Night thing.
Mm-hmm.
Here's something that's interesting. The phrase "trick or treat" is really not that old. It's actually less than say 80 years old. What the reason why that came up is that these kids started saying that to people, trick or treat, which basically, if you don't have a treat to give me, we're going to play a trick on you. And usually that involved, some sort of vandalism to their house or whatever,
TP in the house? Not back then.
Egg in the house,
not
TP
back
in
then.
it,
Egg
trying
in it.
to paint it.
They had eggs back then. Yeah.
Nowadays you can't. Nowadays it costs you freaking $1,000 to egg somebody.
I know, right? The price of eggs has doubled, and it's hard to find toilet paper these days. So yeah,
Don't throw them eggs. I'm gonna eat them things.
Got to use something else.
That's so funny. You just said. I'm not gonna say it because someone said that to me the other day at work. They're like, "Man, we can't even find toilet paper," and I was like, "Oh, you know what I do?" But I'm not gonna say it on here. Sorry. I might just tell you later.
Oh my gosh, we were just talking about murders and all these horrific things like the Salem witch trials. All right, so that kind of made me think about modern day haunted houses, you guys. Like,
yes.
And I'm talking about haunted attractions. What do you guys think about not only haunted attractions, but like extreme haunted attractions where you have to sign a 40-page document and have a psych evaluation?
Okay. So
what do you guys think about that?
What you're talking about is
hold on. Before you dive deep into that, haunted attractions we love.
Yeah.
Okay.
We actually do. We work on doing some reviews on them. We work on. We actually do a haunted attraction for a mud park. My friend owns a mud park, and we do a haunted
trail ride. Yeah.
And we come out, we scare people on their side-by-sides and all four-wheelers and all that stuff like that. We have a trail set up. So we do our own. So when it comes to haunted attractions like that, we love them. They're awesome. Yeah. Now I'll let JT go into his rant.
Now, when you're talking about extreme haunts and having to sign a 40-page waiver, what you're talking about is Russ McCamey and McCamey Manor. This guy, there's really nothing good I can say about this guy. Basically what he does is he basically tortures people, claims he's doing it for a good cause. He doesn't take any money. He takes everything in dog food. He's really big into dog rescue. Yeah. So the payment is bags of dog food,
a 50-pound bag of dog food.
Yeah, this guy used to be a military interrogator. And so what he does is he has these people, sign up, and he gets numerous applications, and he'll go through them and he'll pick who he wants and he'll contact them, and they will meet him at a disclosed or undisclosed location. He'll pick them up. He binds and gags them and blindfolds them, takes them to his house, and then basically tortures them until they'll give up. There's only been, he's been doing this for years, and I think there's only been like 2 or 3 people that have made it all the way through his entire thing.
And now there's 2 of them. There's 2.
He's got 2 different houses now.
Yeah, remember we did our thing. Remember he said something. They were doing something about how his wife runs one of them too, or he has a partner who's a female that runs another venue.
Okay,
I found 3 of them online, you guys. I found San Diego, Tennessee, and Alabama.
Well, so what's happened with him is he usually, his house will be in a subdivision or whatever, and once the subdivision gets wind of what he's doing, he'll end up getting kicked out of the subdivision. So he's had to relocate several times.
The HOA doesn't like things like that, I would assume.
Yeah, probably not.
Speaking of horror, HOA, I could never live anywhere.
Oh my God, right? Oh, it's the worst, right?
Yeah, but I mean, this guy here, it's clearly just he gets off on freaking torturing people, and some people, have it in their head where they want to be tortured to a point. And I mean, honestly, that's for us. We are not into that. It's something that I'm not going to sit here and bash on people and whatever they're into. I think that it's your free will. You signed up for it. You know what you're getting into.
I mean, you do whatever you want,
and that's on you.
Me personally, I'm into the really cool, the professional haunted attractions. We have an excellent one. We're not too far from St. Louis. You guys have probably heard of the Darkness. It's one of the top 10 haunted attractions in the world. And they have the people that own that have another one in Fenton called Creepy World. And now I am really big into those because, and it's funny, when I go to them, it's not like I'm going to them to get scared. I'm going to them really because I want to see what they're doing. I'm just mesmerized by the amount of detail they put into stuff. And
well, you got to get some inspiration for your Halloween decorations at home.
I do. It's funny. A lot of the inspiration I get for my yard haunt is usually from movies, but not really. It's not like you walk through it and go, oh, he got that from this. It's like I'll see a scene in a movie and I'll be like, man, that'd be a cool thing to do in my yard, you know. Like one of the things that we did is I've got these ghosts that I made, and I've got like 6 of them, and they're very simple, but it's a very cool effect. And it's basically just white sheets over mannequin heads on posts. But my wife went and took it an extra step, and she cut the eyes out of the mannequin heads and put tea light candles in them. So when the sheet's over them, you see these 2 yellow glowing eyes through the sheet, you know, and it looks really cool. It's a really cool effect. But I actually got that idea from one of the Insidious movies.
Great films.
There's a section in there where
Patrick
Wilson walks into a room and he's surrounded by all these people with sheets over their heads.
Yes.
And I was like,
that's
man,
creepy.
Yeah, it was creepy as hell. It's a creepy scene. But I was like, man, I want to try and do something like that in my yard.
So someone mentioned earlier in the comments, I think it was, Pixie.
Paranormal Pixie. That's Laura.
Paranormal Pixie.
Laura.
Yeah. She had said that her family celebrates, you know, Halloween, but celebrates the lost loved ones that they had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the way I looked at it. It's kind of crazy. And I actually, it's funny. I'm not really religious at all. I used to be. I'm not anymore. But I am ordained. I got ordained because I was on a search and rescue team, so we had to be ordained just in case.
Explains a lot about you.
we had to be ordained just in case you ran across someone who needed their last rites read and things like that. So we did that on our search and rescue team.
And you can marry people.
And I have done a lot of weddings.
Pandorum.
Nice. And I actually done a Halloween wedding. And a couple friends of mine got married on Halloween. I did their wedding for them. I was a zombie clown as a preacher, but
a zombie clown.
Yeah, it was pretty gnarly. I had a really coal pitcher.
Are they still married? That's my question. Okay.
That is funny. That is funny. I hadn't even thought about that, and I know them.
But anyways,
it's like, oh.
But anyways, no. So
happens to the best of us, y'all.
Okay, it's moving on here.
No, but what's funny, what I was going to get at is, in my speech, I said just, you know, because somebody lost a close family member close to the wedding, and I was like, just remember that if you lost someone, that today is a day that they can break the veil and they're here.
Yeah.
You know, and I said that, at their wedding. So, you know, I think that people need to chill out and calm down. Mm-hmm. And they need to just have fun with what they're doing. Let your kids go out, or if you don't want to go out, let them dress up, man. My son is Iron Man for Halloween. My youngest, and my oldest is Jason Voorhees. And
nice.
And I got him a legit Jason mask. It was like $60 freaking. Yeah. But I'm keeping it for myself afterwards. So it's it's one of those deals.
Yeah.
But
oh yeah.
But no, my kids want to do what they're doing, and I'm gonna let them have fun, let them be kids, and just go on about your merry way. You know, I mean,
thanks, Duke.
Kids have fun.
Thank you, Duke. Yeah, man. I think that if people would just chill out and
have a good time, man.
Now listen, if you're not hurting anyone, then no one should care.
Yeah.
That's my motto in life. If you're not bothering me and mine, then I don't care what you do. Have a good time as long as you're not hurting nobody.
And you know what I think? I think if you're going to take a pre-K class out to a haunted train ride, maybe check in advance. Make sure there's no
did you hear about
going on out there.
It's like the movies, make sure there's no TNA in them.
Right. It was okay. Hey, listen, I was laughing so hard the entire ride. My son's teacher was sitting in front of me in the car right in front of me, and she was mortified. I thought it was hilarious. Okay.
Yeah.
But it was bad for those kids though. They were all
there's an actual case going on right now, fairly recently, where there's video, and I felt really bad for these. These are 5-year-old kids, and there's these like 6 teachers, and they're all dressed up as Scream, as
I saw
as
that.
Ghostface.
Yeah,
And they're
that's horrible.
torturing these little kids. Did you see that?
That was
No,
bad.
I haven't seen that. We're gonna have to check that out here in a little
They
bit.
got fired. That one woman got fired, and she absolutely should have been fired.
I mean, these kids were
that's horrible.
It was these kids were petrified.
She just kept doing it. That was just kind of, I think there was a little mental illness involved in that or something.
Something had to have happened because
there was something wrong with that. Yeah.
But there were teachers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was,
not anymore.
I was just like, wow, dude.
That's crazy.
I would walk in there and I would punch that teacher right in the mouth if they did that shit to my kid.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm sorry. I got to say real quick. You brought up clowns a while ago. I'm just going to throw this out there. I won't
talk about you
folks.
Anymore.
Please go support your indie filmmakers.
Yes.
There is a movie that just came out that if you guys don't know, surely you guys have heard of this. Damien Leone put out a film. It was a sequel to a movie, Terrifier, which came out in 2016. Terrifier 2 just came out this year. This movie is one of the first indie films to get the highest rating on Rotten Tomatoes. It's sitting at an 86% right now. Absolutely phenomenal film. Do not let your kids watch that movie though.
Oh gosh.
That's so funny you said that because we literally me and my wife were in our room. We were trying to get some birthday ideas for my son. Mm-hmm. And he was in the living room with my oldest and their cousin. And all I hear him say is, put on Terrifier 2. And then I'm like, what did he just say? And then my oldest was like, we haven't even seen Terrifier 1. I'm like, hey, you guys do not watch that.
Yeah. No, you don't want your kids watching that series.
Yeah, you have to watch what your kids watch. Absolutely. Yeah. Now, where can people watch you guys?
So
it's come to the end of our show, y'all. Unfortunately,
yeah. Sorry guys.
My goodness,
we like to ramble.
This has been awesome.
So you can listen to our audio of our show on any podcast platform or on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, all of them,
everything.
And then we also have a YouTube channel. Just go over to YouTube and type in the Horror Chronicles podcast, and we'll pop right up.
And your Twitter.
We do. We're on Twitter. I've been on there quite a bit. We used to be on Facebook, but Facebook decided they didn't like us anymore, and they kicked us off.
So it was that Twitter. Jeffrey Dahmer Five Guys joke y'all put out.
Yeah. So now we're barraging Twitter, and
thanks everybody for being in here and saying what's up.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But yeah, check us out at the Horror Chron on Twitter if you guys want. And if you want to see our lovely faces, go to YouTube and check us out there, guys. It's
absolutely.
And if you ever want to come on and talk about anything, just shoot us a message. We'll get you on there.
Yeah,
y'all do that. Well, hey, JT, Ryan, I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful Halloween.
You too.
JT, seriously, send me some pictures of your yard.
I'll do it.
I'll
go out as soon as we get off of here. I'll go take some pictures and send them to you.
Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. This has been so much fun. Thank you guys. Y'all please come back. Okay. We'll have y'all back again soon. All right. Y'all have a great night, and we'll see you guys sometime after Halloween. All right.
Thanks for having us.
Okay. Bye, y'all. All right. They're awesome. I just love JT and Ryan. Don't forget, right after the show, you can join the After Hours crew. They're going to take you guys on an incredible journey for the next 3 hours tomorrow night on Off the Trail. My guest is Dennis Carroll. We're going to be talking about grave robbers, voodoo, reanimated corpses for Halloween. I can't wait to see y'all then. But for now, I'm the Cryptid Huntress, Jessica Jones, and I'm headed off the trails. I will see you guys tomorrow night. I hope y'all have a wonderful night. Bye.